I think we're going. This meeting is being live streamed. All right. That's the only thing. When you get started, sometimes they start taping before you're ready. But welcome everyone to Lisa K. Crawford's YouTube channel. I am here with the lovely Miss Juanita Britton. Hold on for a second. I got a little feedback here. Yes. So anyway, we're live and we are streaming to YouTube. I'm here with the lovely Miss Juanita Britton. How are you this morning?
I am excellent, blessed, just loving the sun and what it gives us and what it tells us that we should be doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And where are you physically located today?
Well, I just arrived back in Washington, D.C. I have an art gallery that I am at on Friday, Saturday, and Sundays in D.C. So that's where I'm at this weekend.
Okay. So that's where you're at this weekend. Is that your lovely studio there behind you, your art gallery?
As a matter of fact, it is. I have the original works of over 70 different artisans from throughout the African diaspora. So, you know, from South America, the Caribbean, Australia, Africa, just all over the world. And then right from, you know, indigenous African Americans. So anything that comes through us from around the world, I love to make sure I can show it to as many people as I can, so they can grace their homes with it.
I love it. So all kind of beautiful artwork. What about clothing and jewelry, which is where my heart gets stuck at?
Well, I have lots of beautiful designer jewelry and a few clothes. I host trunk shows weekly with designers.
Okay.
My heart is also in adorning my body with beautiful things, but seems like I just need to let the designers handle the sale of their beautiful things, because you know, people just don't want to believe you when you tell them what you pay for what you pay for. So I'm just going to let the designers deal with that. So I have trunk shows with designers, and then I do have lots of unique jewelry, really, you know, from Kenya, Brazil, all uniquely designed. And I'm trying to get it to us before Neiman Marcus gets it to us.
I know that's right. And I didn't even say the name of your business, but let me just say, and we're going to do a proper introduction, but Miss Juanita Britton is the owner and proprietor of BZB International. That's BZB International. And so we're looking at her studio behind her, not just your actual, you say museum and gallery, correct?
Well, it's an art gallery and boutique. And so this place I have under BZB International.
Okay.
They're subsidiaries. So this subsidiary here is called the Anacostia Art Gallery and Boutique.
Okay.
And Anacostia is a Native American name, and I am sitting on the land of where Native Americans were before we invaded this country. So I'm right in the neighborhood in Washington, D.C., off of Martin Luther King Avenue. Very beautiful neighborhood overlooking the river and National Airport.
I cannot come wait to come visit you there where you are. That sounds so beautiful and historic. Yeah. And I love DC. I've been there several times, but don't necessarily know that area. So very historic Indian grounds, huh?
Yes, the whole city actually. And I wanted to mention, we talked about just briefly the things that I have and what my specialty is. And I mentioned getting these beautiful products to folk before the Neiman's and the Macy's and the Walmarts, because those buyers are all over the world buying products and taking ideas from indigenous artisans. And so my big job, I know I was called to do this because I appreciate it, and it's so easy and it's so much love when I do it, is to find artisans and designers and jewelers and crafters and support them, because I know that when I bring it to table, everybody loves it. I mean, there is something for everybody that comes from the continent. And again, I'm just trying to get it, to us before it gets a $1,000 markup.
That's exactly what we should be doing. And thank you for saying that, because I'm very aware of that as well. It's almost like extracting the culture of the people for profit and just throwing away the bodies, but we want the culture. Folks want the culture for profit. That's
right. That's right.
And thank you for showcasing artists and giving them that opportunity to shine. I appreciate that.
Just look at those 3 girls back there. Aren't they lovely?
Yes. Yes, I love that. To me, at least from my angle, it looks like a little bit of a mosaic. I can't see all like the fabric of it, but it's beautiful.
It's mixed media, and yes, you're right. It's a compilation of products, fabric and paint and paper and jewels to create that imagery there. And it's out of Nigeria. And my big point is that there was a World's Fair. It was in United Arab Emirates. It stretched for 3 miles. And the number one things that sold at the World's Fair was Christie's, and Christie's selling the art from the indigenous Africans. They'd gone and been buying art for 2 whole years. And they brought it to the World's Fair. And the artists that actually, sold the art to the buyers, they have no idea or even understand the business, to even know how much more profitable they could have been, so that they could take care of their families. Because artisans in indigenous countries, they don't really profit much, but that's all changing. So they're getting hipper. I'm educated. I've got about 30 of them that I'm educating on the whole business. And so that's why I have beautiful art from directly, big, beautiful pieces from about 11 different countries on the continent.
I love it. And I love the continent of Africa. I was blessed to be in West Africa in 2019. And I visited 5 countries. That was my first time in my entire life. Although I have dreamt from being a little girl of always going to Africa and just being there. So I look forward to it. I know you have had so many countless journeys, and I would love to get those type of numbers under my belt, but I would love to travel with you also.
It's okay. We all are living the life that we are in the middle of it, and you'll get to do all the things that you want to really get a chance to do, because that's where your heart is going to push you to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
And I love the whole idea of like the entrepreneurship and connecting those dots with our brothers and sisters across the seas.
That's right.
Yes. So let's turn our attention here, because you're from DC, you're from Florida. I mean, you're all over Africa. I mean, BZB International is everywhere. So, but let's talk about your life in the Sunshine State.
Yeah.
You've been living in South Florida for a while, right?
Yeah, well, I came in 2000. I've been going, of course, to South Florida, like many folk, for vacations for years and years. And it's the kind of place that you go, and if you stay too long, you definitely do not want to go back home. You start to if you're like me, if you stay a little bit longer past your vacation, you say, oh, I'll go back you're supposed to go for home on Sunday and you stay till Tuesday. And you start driving around, and then you look on Zillow at house prices, and then you look at neighborhoods, and you look at the proximity to the beach, and you look at the good weather. And then it just hits you. You're just like, well, you know what? I could live here. I could
live here.
I could live here. Or you start to say, because I don't think about wanting to live somewhere when I retire, because I don't ever think of retirement. So it hit me that I wanted to be. This is what I wanted. This is how I feel. This is my vibe. I mean, walking on the beach, the sun shining. Your body is more exposed. So then you get more conscious. You become more healthy. So it all happened in a week for me.
Wow.
Quite frankly. I mean, I made a decision in a week. 6 weeks later, I was back with 15 appointments to look at condos or homes. And that happened in 2000. It all happened in 2014. And I had 14 appointments, and the very first one was the best.
Really?
Absolutely.
How that worked out. The first one was the best.
The first one, I did not, it checked all the boxes. Realtors sometimes will, maybe take you to the one that maybe they could get a good one, but they can get paid really well on it.
I like to know how y'all think about realtors. So keep talking.
Well, I mean, if you have a client and she tells you, or he tells you what they want, and you've gotten, and it's in the range, and you take them to the juiciest one. You take them to the juiciest one first. Why not? And my realtor, my first one was not the juiciest one. It just happened to be the one in the route that was first in the route that we were going to travel. And it knocked off all the boxes. And I guess the impression of me was bigger than the reality of me. So she thought that I would like one with a super fancy lobby and a super fancy gym. And that didn't impress me. That doesn't impress me. What impresses me is management, the number of owners per renters, and the size of the apartment and its proximity to the actual beach.
Love it. I like that you said, wait a second there. I like that you said the number of owners versus renters, because I don't know that everybody knows to think like that in the beginning without some experience.
Well, I know sometimes I come across, I do my research. That's all I can tell you. I have a PhD, and I am a researcher, and I'm a factual kind of, I like facts and information.
Yes, ma'am. I love that. So you did your research. I tell you something else that people probably don't pay attention to unless they do their facts and research. And that is condo association reserves.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, does that building, is it managed well? Do they hold enough reserves to take care of anticipated repairs, or do a lot of those expenses kind of blow back to the owners and create huge assessments against owners?
Well, exactly. And that is a good realtor will talk to their client about that. But it just so happens the building I'm in has an ongoing assessment to keep the reserves correct. And so it's small, but it's ongoing.
I like
and
that.
So our bank is full, and we keep it that way so that it is not a big push if something goes wrong. And if something goes wrong, in fact, everybody knows what happened recently in South Florida. So all of the buildings now are they passed some laws around
like the 40-year inspections.
40 years.
I think there may be even some ones that may be interim before that, but I know the 40-year one is the big one. And a lot of places gotten shut down after that disaster in Surfside.
That's correct. So just so happened, I happened to be with a group, my association and the management company were right on point with us having already built reserves so that we are prepared to keep our building in good shape throughout, as well as to upgrade it for the 40 year if need be. So
and you're definitely making the distinction between the reserves and the HOA fee.
That's correct. Oh, definitely.
I just want to make sure, because I know some people forget about that. Like, reserves are not HOA fee, or not the fees or condo association fees.
That's right. Those are two separate association fees for everybody. Are what keeps the building ongoing on a daily basis. The maintenance, the pool, the basics to keep your building up. And so that's what the HOA is. That's what is the common per square footage charge for your unit to take care of your common property.
Exactly. The grounds and basically everything outside your unit, right?
Yeah. And I forgot to mention what was so special about the first building that I went to and why I picked it was one of the things that I really love in life. And I just had it early on. And so I pay for the things that I like. My building has a true valet. So, you pull up to that's the dreamiest thing of life, to pull up to your door.
Man, I like that.
Your door, and you just get out, and every time you pull up to your door, they're helping you with all the things in the car, bringing them to your apartment if you need it, and parking your car for you.
Right.
It's service. It's not being lazy. It's just the service that's offered, and I loved it.
That is a beautiful thing. That is definitely a beautiful thing. Now, let's see. You got the sun, you got the views and all of that type of thing. And what about Florida lifestyle? Let's talk about a little bit of the lifestyle living. What's that been like for you?
Well, see, the thing is, I bring my own lifestyle with me. So I have my time in Florida. A lot of folk come to me because I know how to live. I really like to live. So there are so many great things to do in South Florida, and so many of the Floridians that are there, it doesn't seem like they explore the things to do. Maybe they're used to them, but I'm telling you, I'm talking about, taking a water taxi just for $20 all day on a Saturday morning, and getting on walking over to the Intercoastal. I mean, I do it every time my girlfriends come to town, and they're like, "What are we doing?" I say, "We're walking a quarter of a mile to the Intercoastal. We're getting on a water taxi, and we're going to have breakfast at one place, lunch at another, stop for drinks, stop for dinner, stop for dessert." And we're talking starting at 9 o'clock in the morning and taking the last boat back.
Wow. Now that is lifestyle right there. Now, who lives like that on a daily basis?
Yeah. And so what happens is we get caught up, because I still have to work.
Right.
But we get caught up, without expanding ourselves. We get used to doing the same old thing. So Florida offered the ability for me to expand the things that I thought I'd like to do. There are even more things that I like to do now that I would have never thought of since I moved to Florida.
Exactly.
And that's one of them, water taxiing. And it's so funny because you find everybody but us on those water taxis, and so I know all the captains up and down the Intercoastal because I do it so much. And we just have a good time, just dreaming and relaxing and talking, and just sisters having a good time.
Well, that's true, Miss Juanita, but some people may feel like they might fall off them boats. So, there are those people that have those concerns, drinking, and I don't know, but I would say get over your fears, get out, live outside the box, try some new activities, put on a water vest and keep it moving, right?
Right. And guess what? You don't have to drink.
That's true.
You don't have to drink. Drinking is not required.
Right.
But and if you don't drink, don't. If you do, have a good time, because they're very safe. That's what they're very safety conscious on that. So neither here nor there. That's just one of the great things that as an example of opening yourself up to new things. And
what about kayaking? I think there's some activities along, is that Birch Park, close to Ocean Boulevard, where.
Well, guess what?
What?
That I have a kayak.
Okay.
And I kayak out in the ocean.
Okay.
I kayak about 1.5 miles directly in front of my property. Oh. And there's a reef there, and I jump off the kayak and I scuba and snorkel.
Nice. Do you?
And I know that at least 8 of my best girlfriends, 6 of them would have never dreamt that they would have been comfortable sitting in the kayak with me out in the ocean. And they cannot wait to do it again.
Really?
I am the snorkeling kayak ocean rider whisperer.
And who knew?
And I can get you out there if you can calm down. Some people just can't calm down. If I can calm you down and get you settled and show you how to kayak, and that the boat is meant to move a little bit and you're going to be fine, and that I know how to slip off the boat and it doesn't even move, go down and get some lobster, get the lobster in the boat, take it back and cook it, and we eat it.
Wait, BuzyBee, that's you too? That's you?
Yes. If I can load up photographs right now, I can show you me in my snorkeling equipment having lobster with, after actually catching it. I of course I document all this because it's so much fun to share with folks.
Well, that saying where people say I can fry up the bacon and put it up in the pan and all that right there. I may not be able to help you catch that, but I will fry that thing in some butter or whatever needs to be done to, yes.
And I showed a whole new group. Some folk only put lobster in water, and I'm like, no. We butter and garlic and grill it. Come on, that's what we do, and man, it's awesome.
I love it. So we talked a little bit off air, and you were saying that you have brought your girlfriends down here, just like you were just saying, and that you've convinced some of them, though, to come on down for real, like move down here. Talk about some of that, what that's been like with you and some of your friends.
Well, what happens is everybody, for me, I just believe that, you put your mind to something and you can do it. I know that for a fact. That's how I live my life. And I know that when a girlfriend comes down, I don't really have to convince them. Once they see that I've done it, and it's not about how much money you have. All of my whole circle is accomplished. Come on, all your girlfriends are accomplished at some level.
Yeah.
And so if you are not accomplished right where you want to be, we'll move to get there.
Right.
So having a second home or getting with a girlfriend and getting a condo and deciding who goes which week, and this in my week, and this year I'll get Christmas, next year you get Christmas. Figure it out.
Right.
So what happens, people come and visit, and I just, no pressure. I will specifically have something to do so they can have their time to themselves, so they can do their own dreaming and feeling and thinking. And I'm telling you, I leave you in my condo a full day and a full evening, and I walk in the door and they're like, when can I move in? They're like, can I stay an extra day? I'm like, girl, we haven't even gone to Miami yet for you to even see, because, the first thing to do is to walk up and down and go to the Fort Lauderdale beach and to go onto Las Olas and look at all that cultural and fun. And then to zip up and down 95 between it. I mean, I went from Fort Lauderdale. I mean, I love racing. So we'll hit Daytona.
Wow.
For the Daytona 500, I've gone twice since I've been in South Florida.
Nice.
And the two sisters, in fact, we rented a bigger vehicle because so many sisters wanted to go. And two of the sisters were from South Florida and had never gone to the Daytona 500.
Wow.
And they didn't think they were interested in car racing.
Can I tell you, I've never been. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know, because it doesn't seem like something you want to do, but I'm telling you, it's such a hype of life, I call those kinds of things. And you got to have a bucket list with some exciting things on it. And I'm that girl who likes to know a little bit about everything.
I love
and
it.
I don't want to be an expert in one or two things. I like knowing a little bit about everything. So, I'd gone to the Indianapolis because I'm from Detroit. And in fact, in Detroit now, we have our own big races. I go home for that.
I didn't know that.
So,
what's Detroit's called?
It's called the sweeps, Detroit sweeps. Okay. And it goes around this park, this island called Belle Isle. And it's where all Detroiters that are over 50, over 40 spent their entire youth in the summer going to this island, on an island. Just for, it's home. It's a park and we sit right on the Detroit River. So it's home. It's called Belle Isle. And when Detroit went through its desperate time, the state took it over. And the state of Michigan is working very hard to still make it feel like Belle Isle, the home, as opposed to like a state park. Because, the vibe is different in a state park than the park of the city.
Yes.
So because Detroit is a Black town, it was never going to be a state park. It's always going to be, Belle Isle, where I grew up and where we used to play backgammon and where we used to skate and where we used to go fishing with. And it's where all little children, every little child goes there to feed duck at age 2 and 3. It's duck heaven. Duck heaven. So you take your babies there to go get their first interaction with ducks. It's really a dreamy place. And it's so funny because before you get on Belle Isle, there was a White Castle.
Ooh, wait. Don't say WC now, not WC.
You get your White Castles and then you go to the park. So, but that's Detroit. So
I love Detroit culture.
Yeah. So for me in Fort Lauderdale, what I do, I don't know if you all, the first time I came into Fort Lauderdale, I came into Fort Lauderdale, it was, when I finally made it, was about 2:00 in the morning and I had the keys to my condo and I was like so afraid because, it's my first time coming and my truck is coming the next day to move in. And so I was like, where, I had two friends with me, what are we going to do? We're hungry. So every time I drive into to Fort Lauderdale, I have to stop at the Miami sub on Oakland Park.
Got your spot.
That's my WC of Fort Lauderdale.
Really?
Because they're open and it's open and then we went and it's such a dreamy thing. And then that one person that came with me, she has since got a place there. We got sandwiches and went to the back on the beach and stayed till it became daylight. And then that's when I went to invade my apartment.
I love that. You did it right. You did right.
I was too shy. You can't imagine that, but I did not want to be offensive to anybody. It's my first time coming, and I'm coming in at 2 a.m. Although it means nothing. We would have just went through the lobby. I would have said hello, went up to my apartment, but I just didn't want to disrespect anybody with the things that I was bringing in at, just the bags at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. So we just got sandwiches and sat in the lounge chairs right on the beach till sunrise. And then Starbucks is right across the street from my building. And then we had, coffee. And then, like 8:30, we're ready to go up and start moving.
I love it. Excuse me. I love the way you did that.
And
that was respectful. There's a lot of rules down here, and some of these folks, they want you to rent out certain elevators or use certain elevators. And you were just automatically respectful, but there's been a lot of rules put in place because a lot of people haven't been always respectful about some of the shared living.
Yeah, some people are not, they're just not used to sharing and living with others. And forget it if you're not used to it. You have to get with it if you do live with others. You have to get with it. And that's why when all the folk are moving down, the things that we're talking about, ratio of ownership is very important because of the wear and tear on your building and just who's in and out of your building. Because I don't mind people watching because I watch and I want to know too. So watch me because I'm watching you, and we're both just trying to keep the value of our property up.
I know, and people are very serious when they invest in South Florida real estate. They really care, and folks show up at those association meetings too, don't they? And
oh my goodness, we sure do.
People are concerned and they are involved about where they live. So as we all should be. Let's see. So we talked living in South Florida, getting your girlfriends down here. So now you have girlfriends in DC, you have folks down here. You and I just had the pleasure of attending the South Florida Women of Color event, which is an annual event here in South Florida. And I just want to thank you for the part that you played, which was it was almost like a ceremonial event. It felt African in culture and nature, but it was on the beach and all of the women in white. And my understanding is that you coordinated it so that it would all be that way. Talk about that gathering of women on the beach a few weeks ago or several weeks ago.
Yes, well, thank you. And I did see you did take it in, and I see you did have you had some good moments out there. So I appreciate that you settled your energy and you received it. So it's kudos to you, because now you can do that. You can gather your family and people and wear white and go out and talk to the ancestors. But let me tell you about it. So I am enstooled as a queen mother in Ghana. And although that ceremony has nothing to do with Ghana, my role is to be advisor to about 600 people in a village that I quote unquote own the land in, and they live there, and we work together to make it better. That's the most humble way I can say is what's going on. So to become a queen mother, I got enstooled. And there was a time when I was told this is a new beginning. And that's new beginning. So when I moved to Florida, I took that whole new beginning. Although I don't need a new beginning, I just was at a new beginning of something new. Sometimes we need a new beginning though, but this was not the time. I was wooside. I'm pretty cool. But so when I moved there, just people would, when I'd invite people and they just felt like, oh, this is such a new beginning. And then I put it together with when I was being installed as a new beginning for my village. So in 2016, Martin Luther King weekend, I held a New Beginnings weekend, which centered around all types of activity, but men and women. And the culminating activity was to wear white and to be totally cognizant that when we sit and look at this ocean that you all so much enjoy, that we so much enjoy, that our ancestors came across those waters, and many perished in the water and many made it. Hence, we are here. And so paying homage to them, paying homage to our grandmother, our great-grandmother, the ones that we touched and felt, and the ones that they touched and felt, saying a prayer, remembering them, holding hands, telling another sister, thank you, I love you, and acknowledging each other and having just a little quiet time with our feet grounded in the sand. There's a thing called grounding where you can just feel the earth. Yeah. And you just close your eyes and put your feet in the sand, wiggle your toes, and just ground yourself and think of your ancestors and think of something special, and the water and the waves, and you with some sisters and you've had a good time. And it hit you.
Yeah, it did. That's what it did for me.
It rocks your world just for a minute in the most beautiful way.
In the most beautiful way.
So, because this conference that those sisters put together, I mean, Bernadette, those sisters of women empowerment.
Norris Weeks, Michelle Austin Pammies, and my other sister. Oh my God. I can't, that's why when you start down the list of names, but I can see her face just as well, but the whole team, the whole team of the staff and everyone, and then everyone that attended that came even from around the country. Yeah. The newbies didn't even know how big it was in the past. And they may even, Bernadette and the team may even like it the way it was, the size, because it touched so many more people so directly. So I think you're right. It did feel more intimate this time. It really did.
And their goal is not bigger is better. Their goal is to really make a difference in people's lives. So,
and Kathy Eggleston, that's the other person that's a part of just putting on this fabulous annual event.
Yes. So she wanted to, and Bernadette and all of those sisters, Pam and Kathy, they'd all been to my New Beginning celebration as well.
Okay.
So Bernie just had an idea.
They knew what to expect then, right?
They kind of, I did a few things differently though. So it wasn't the same old. I did a few things different. I just thank God for my third eye being open. I'm creative on a drop. So I thought of something that would connect this group to each other. And when I decided that we wouldn't necessarily talk, because it was different people, and different ethnic groups. And so I didn't concentrate as much on our ancestors coming across the waters as I did the women in our lives that we've touched, remembering them and remembering the things they told us. So if you recall, I asked people to bring about a quote or a feeling or a vibe from their mother, grandmother, or big mama, or their sister that resonated with them, and if they could share it with us so we could understand the value of what they were told. And as you know,
we can all relate. Everybody can relate just about to what everybody else's big mama, grandma, mama has said to them. It was so great.
Wasn't it great?
Yes.
Great. And I'll just say for the audience, so what we did, let me just tell you one of the ones that was the easiest that everybody understood, because you see mamas, today's mamas, they're not about this. They talk and explain things to their kids. So what we did, I asked everyone to be dramatic and say exactly what somebody told them that they'll never forget. And one person just got in the middle of our circle and put her hands on her hip and let her backbone slip. And she said, "Because I said so." And everybody out there, you remember when back in the day, your mama didn't explain to you why you can't go somewhere. She just said, "Because I said so." So,
and you were stonewalled at that point. Like, you're like, where do I go with this?
Yeah, so there you go.
That is really, really good. But yeah, that would probably have to have been the saying of the entire experience out there. That one right there, that was it.
Exactly. And then one sister got up and recited the Lord's Prayer, because she said that's what her grandmother made her say every single day when they was at the dinner table, a breakfast table. And she said it had to say it every single day. And then from time to time, they would decide which line they had to talk about or explain, Yes. So I tell you.
Yeah, and we can't forget, like, what's that? A hard head will make a soft A. We can't forget none of those. I mean,
exactly, all of that.
Yes, that was a very, very beautiful experience. And I definitely want to be a part of the next experience that you do like that with the ladies here, because yes. You are awesome. And I'm so glad that you're here in South Florida. I mean, as much as you shared here on this little platform with me, we've only scratched the surface about you as a person, your trials, experiences, the things that you've been through. You have to come back and we'll have to create more opportunities to talk about some of those things. But in the meantime, and before we get ready to go, tell me about that blue lipstick.
Well, and red is really my favorite color, but it's deeper than you can imagine, actually. So, blue is a color, and the international name for blue is indigo. And would you believe that indigo was created in West Africa? And indigo, the color of indigo and the use of indigo in designs with indigenous crafters is age old. It's very old. There are women in marketplaces that are a half mile wide and a half mile long with big blue pots. And they're making indigo designs for the world. And I got a chance to see that. And I work with a designer. It's called Damali African Wear with a K, African Wear with a K. And she specializes in indigo clothing. Couture, modern day designs using indigo.
I love
And
it.
so I just have the ultimate respect for the color blue that I wear this blue with green, yellow. I do have a corporate side. I have a very big corporate board meeting 4 times a year. And I do some really, corporate kinds of things. And I wear my blue. And it is now, the world is just, and I say thank you so much to our ancestors and all the work they put in. But I'm telling you, the George Floyd factor has opened up so many things in our lives. You got to read that book. It's just called The George Floyd Factor.
Okay.
And I say that in homage because so much has happened since then. But it used to be a day that you were considered kind of kooky if you had different color in your hair, or if you had some lipstick that was a different color. Those things were not what you would call respectable.
Not mainstream.
Not mainstream, not respectable. And so they are respectable. It's actually beautiful. And it's generally not even a problem. And in fact, the very ones who you thought would maybe not even think that it was a good idea or not respectful, they're asking where you get that blue lipstick from.
See.
And I'm speaking a specific kind of woman will ask me that.
Really?
Yeah.
So,
the ones
that you wouldn't think would have been the one to ask. Is that what you're saying? Yes.
And believe it or not, nowadays sisters come up and love it, but it's my white sisters who just really just like they just love it. Generally love it. They're just so intrigued by it, and they're just like, wow, it's so pretty. And then sometimes it's sisters, and they'll kind of be like, girl, what you got on blue lipstick? And so now that's easing a little bit, but because we're also open now. We're also much more open,
right,
to people.
Yeah, and we are. I see men with fingernail polish. I see folks with eyeshadow on and stuff that I never thought would be walking around. It's just like the world has opened up in a way that's just kind of amazing, And
you bet. And guess what? I'm just saying, it's the George Floyd effect. Now just think of the Crown Act. You know about the Crown Act? Well, the Crown Act, everyone, is an act of Congress that allows us to be able to wear braids to our job without being criticized or fired for it.
Yeah, that's recent too. And
that's recent.
I didn't recognize the name. Yes, ma'am, You're right.
And it used to be that, yes, that was a big deal in the past.
Oh yeah, I've known sisters who actually got fired from jobs for having their braids in and being told that their braids were not professional.
Yes. Well, when I moved to Washington, D.C. to come to grad school, my mom just begged me. She just said, oh, please, you got to take those braids out. You're not going to be able to get a job. And of course, I was the very first one selected from my class to have my White House internship. So
what? Did you say White House?
Yeah.
You had a White House internship?
Right up under Ronald Reagan.
I don't mean to question you as if you didn't just say that, but I guess I just want to make sure I heard my ears correctly.
Yeah, right up under Ronald Reagan.
Okay.
There was no blue lipstick then, though.
Right.
And I did take my braids down.
Okay.
There's certain things that you do ebb and flow, and right. you have to abide by the standards, because I'm already going to stand out because of my personality. So I had to do many things that would not allow a target to be put on me, because we're already targets. We're Black and proud, right. So we're already going to be a target with that.
Yeah, can you imagine Black and proud, and then Black, proud, and blue? Oh my, yeah.
Well, yeah, blue lipstick was not out in the 80s.
Yeah.
only in the theater. So
yeah, I think back then my mom might have had like some bronze, some highly bronze lipstick or gold maybe.
Right. Exactement.
Yes, and I
Parlez-vous
love.
français?
Oui, je parle un peu de français.
Ah bon?
J'ai étudié le français pour 3 années à l'université de Cincinnati.
Oh, fantastic, girl.
Yes.
I got to take you to Senegal then.
I went there just briefly. I want to go back with you. I can't wait. When are you going back to Africa?
Oh, I go back actually in October for an event. Okay. But I'm taking another group in February.
Okay, definitely. I want to talk with you about that. I'm going to definitely get more information because I'm so interested. That's my passion.
I took the women empowerment group. We had a trip.
I know that trip. I was actually working with Bernadette and for Bernadette.
Yes.
Yeah. So that trip I wasn't able to go. And I don't know if you know Meredith McCleary.
Yes, I do.
Yes, that at the time she was going, so I went with her because I couldn't get with your group at that time. So that's why I'm going with you on one of these occasions in the near future. So,
okay, fantastic.
Juanita
and
Britton,
in fact, they took us. We went to Ghana, but Bernadette and Pammy's took a sidebar trip to Senegal.
Oh, they did that side trip. Okay.
Yes, they did.
You know, one of my favorite places was Benin.
Oh, yes.
I love Benin and the history and the culture in that area.
The art.
Yes, I could have gotten much more immersed into that. Definitely.
Yeah.
So, Miss BZB International, Juanita Britton, thank you because you are a very busy lady and you've taken time out of your busy schedule to be here with me today. And I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you. So everyone, you can certainly be in touch. My website is bzbinternational.com. You can, look for me on Facebook under Juanita, under BuzyBee, under Anacostia Art Gallery. Instagram, it's Juanita BuzyBee. And of course, you can call or text me, 202-550-7060 anytime.
It's 202-550-7060.
Anytime.
And so when we are up, we're in DC and we want to stop by and check you out, we'll be able to do that. Then we go
That's
to
right.
international.com.
Yeah, and the gallery's open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And of course, as you know, that's the gallery's always open, and you're more than likely find me here. But I do get my beat. I do have to spend my time in Fort Lauderdale because that is where it all happens for me.
Yes, I love it. So thank you so much. And if you know anyone that's out there looking around, I'll be glad to help them. I'm in the industry and real estate, and I'll be glad to help. I'll treat them with kid gloves. I promise. You know that.
Oh, yes, fantastic. Okay,
well,
I will look forward to our continued connection.
Thank you so much. You have a very wonderful day.
Thank you. And you have a good weekend.
You too.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.